to learn the 613 mitzvahs. 613 mitzvahs. The Rebbe highly encouraged it, that to have all Jewish people be united. How are you going to unite all Jewish people in learning? Because every Jew around the world should be learning the mitzvahs together. The Sefer HaMitzvahs, Maimonides wrote the entire Torah in a book, and there's different levels of scholarship. You could be doing 3 chapters a day, 1 chapter a day, or just doing the mitzvah. And I encourage you to join my WhatsApp group and learn the mitzvah of the day. So you will be learning together with all the Jewish people. Okay. Chapter 20. And I actually want to show you, sorry guys, on my WhatsApp, I want to show you 2 pictures that are going to help us understand today's lesson, as we do sometimes. So I'm just going to open my WhatsApp and we're going to see what's going on. If you remember, we have a lot of stuff going on in the Chumash already till now. We had the passing of Miriam. We had then the well waters went away. The Jews complained. Then we had, I believe already, or did we have that? That Aaron passed away. I believe that, or was that in the Tuesday night class, or no? I don't think we had that yet, actually. We're going to get there. But meanwhile, let us look at a map of the Chumash for today, because it's going to help us. Okay, so here you go. Here is, come on. Here is the map. All right, so what you're looking at here, obviously Canaan, you see in large, the land of Canaan, that is going to be Israel. Now, the Jews are not in Israel yet. They've traveled from the south up to Kadesh and Ritma. And if you'll notice, they're on the border of a country called Edom. Edom is, by the way, it will turn into Rome. According to, I believe, a lot of the commentaries, Edom will end up being Rome. But for now, it's not Rome yet, obviously. This is way before that period in time. But Edom is related to the Jewish people. Edom is Esav. If I remember correctly off the bat, if you go up to the north of the map, Canaan, like towards where the top of our map is, you remember there was a story that Esav wanted to kill Yaakov, right? Esav had let's just go back in history a little bit to explain this. Esav, Yitzchak told he had twin sons, Yaakov and Esav, and he told his son Esav, I want to bless you as the firstborn rights. And Yaakov tricked him, and really Esav didn't want it. He sold it officially, and without getting into the whole story, anyway, Yaakov ran away to Uncle Laban's house, and he starts heading back south, going to his father, to where his father lived, Hebron, wherever they were, the temple, where Jerusalem was. Started traveling down to Jerusalem, and on the way, Esav comes to meet up with him to kill him, and he ends up not killing him. And then he says to Yaakov, let me travel with you south as you head back home to our parents. And Yaakov says, forget it. You go ahead. I can't travel together with you. And Esav runs ahead. And where does he go? I believe to this area, to Edom, and he builds his own nation. So the Jews will split from Edom, right? Edom will, Esav will go there. And the Torah tells us it was tremendous chieftains in Edom. And the Jews, meanwhile, will go to Egypt, will be going to slavery, and that Joseph will be sold there. The Jews will end up there. They're going to slavery, and now they're meeting up again. The cousins, the distant cousins, are meeting up again here. And what do the Jews want from Edom? They don't want to fight him. All they want to do is they want to get through his country. They want to travel east. They're going to want to come up, I guess. They're not going to want to go into Israel straight north. They want to make a loop. They want to go around the Dead Sea, go to the Jordan River, and then into Israel from there. So they're asking Edom, please just let us through your land. And what is Edom going to say? You'll find out in today's Chumash. Actually, there's one more map I want to show you, which is the next picture. Here is where they're going to travel. Once Edom says no, and they're in Kadesh, they're going to have to go all the way south, so that because they're not going to fight Edom. They're going to have to surround it, but they're going to get to a place called Mount Har. That, my friends, is where in tomorrow's Chumash, Aaron is going to pass away. So they're now heading south, because Edom is not letting them travel through there. Now let's go into the actual Chumash. Now that you have the map, to me that helps a lot. I hope it helps you guys to just get a vision of where they are. Okay, verse 14, Yudalit. Vayishlach Moshe malachim. So Moshe sent malachim. Moshe sent messengers. The Kadesh, from the area of Kadesh, which I showed you on the map. El Melech Edom, to king of Edom, to the king of the Edomites, the Edoms. This is what the message that Moses sends the messengers to the king of Edom. We got a message for you. Go in. Like today, there's a meeting between our president and Putin, right? So they're sending to the king. Moshe sending a message to the king of the Edomites. And what is this message? So says your brother Israel. So says your brother Israel, right? Because they're relatives, as I explained in the beginning of the lesson. They both come from, Esav comes from the Jewish people. Esav is a brother to Yaakov. He's original brother of the three forefathers. And he says, so says your brother Israel. Ata Yadaita, you know, my dear brother, my cousins, my relatives, all the hardship that has befallen us. You know good and well. I guess you're not too far away from Egypt. You know what your relatives have been through. Now Rashi, let's run 2 points that Rashi makes on this verse. Why is he telling him a relative, all mushy feelings that he's telling him his relative? And Rashi has a very interesting observation that he makes on this argument on the Jews, what the Jews are trying to tell their distant relatives. He says, look, we both share the same great-grandfather, right? Who's our great-grandfather? Who's your great-grandfather and our great-grandfather? It's Abraham. Abraham was told, right, before you went home, and I went home to dad, to my father Yitzchak, to my grandfather Avram, and you went home to start your own country, your own situation, God told Abraham that his grandchildren will be slaves in a land not known to them. We're going to be persecuted. We're going to have anti-Semitism. This was already, we started off like that. And we went to Egypt. And what did you say, Asa? You said, I have nothing to do with this. You be the Jews, you take the anti-Semitism, you take the persecution, and I'm out of here. See you later. I'm out of the family. I'm not partaking in this. So Yitzchak is the Jewish people are telling the Edomites, the children of Esav, look, you moved off. You don't get Israel. I think one of the commentaries says, Israel doesn't belong to you now because you didn't take the persecution. It was a package deal. You want to be part of the Jews, you got to suffer with it and get the reward. You can't just take the reward. All right, so one of the commentaries explained it like that. So that's what they're telling to the brother. Also, they're going to make an argument saying, you know how much we've suffered. You moved on in life. We took the responsibility for the family. All we're asking you now is do us a favor. Let us just go through your land so we don't have to schlep all the way south and go around your country. And look what Rashi says. That's why Esav left. Why did Esav leave and go start his own family country? Because he knew that the Jews had to suffer anti-Semitism. They had to suffer in Egypt in order to get Israel. So you left the family. You moved on. This is not your story anymore. You left the family. Israel belongs to us now. We took on the responsibility. Here we are a couple hundred years later after going through terrible persecution. And he goes through what the persecution was. They're telling their distant cousins, verse 15. Vayerdu aviseinu Mitzrayim. Our fathers, our forefathers went down to Egypt. V'neishav b'Mitzrayim, and they sat, they dwelled, they sojourned, they lived, they went and they lived in Egypt for a while. Yamim Rabim, for many days. Reyu lanu Mitzrayim, and the Egyptians were very mean to us. They mistreated us. Terrible anti-Semitism. We suffered terrible persecution in Egypt. They're telling their distant cousins now. And our forefathers suffered too. And Rashi's wondering, what do you mean? The forefathers didn't go to Egypt. Their grandchildren went. And Rashi says, here we see that the forefathers suffer in their grave when their grandchildren are suffering. And it's very interesting. He's saying, so our forefathers suffered too. In other words, your great-grandfather also, we share a great-grandfather also suffered. Verse 16, Vanitzak al Hashem, and we cried out to Hashem. Vayishma kailenu, and God listened to our voice. Okay? Because, as Rashi says, the Jewish people were blessed not to be strong armies, not to be mighty and powerful. Right? You leave that for the Italian or whatever, other armies. The Jews are not known to be the boxing, matches and stuff like that. But we do have a power of our voice to call it to Hashem. But Yishlach Malach, and God sent an angel. And Rashi says that's talking about Moses. God sent Moses, an angel like Moses, to save us. And he took us out of Egypt. And here we are, in the city of Kadesh, on the borderland of your thing. I want to just share a message I saw in the Chayenu booklet that I use, a message from this verse that we called out and Hashem heard our prayer. And he says something interesting. He says that the Jews suffered very long, but for some reason, they didn't cry out to Hashem. The moment that they really cried out, I guess, with their whole heart to Hashem, bang, Hashem answered them. And the message he wants to learn is in life, Hashem is actually waiting for you to ask for help in order to help you. Don't say, God already knows, why do I have to cry out? No. The message that Chayenu brought down from different areas in Hasidic philosophy is that the Jews suffered a long time, but when they caught and they realized that if they pray to Hashem, I guess with their whole heart, they will be answered. That's a message over here. Once we started calling out to Hashem, instantly Hashem answered us. Verse 17. Nabra nabartzecha, please let us cross into your land. Please let us go into your land. And don't claim rights to Israel, Rashi says. Help us out, get to Israel. You don't have a right to Israel. You didn't suffer. You walked out. You left the family. Don't come now and all of a sudden claim rights to Israel because you're a grandson of Abraham, because you skipped the difficult part, you know? Let us just do us a favor. We need to get to the Jordan River side of Israel to get into Israel. Let us cross through your land. We won't go in anyone's fields. We won't go into the fields. We won't go into anyone's vineyards. We're not going to abuse your country. We're not going to participate from your land. We won't drink your well water. What are you scared of? We're going to use up the commodities in your country. We're not going to touch it. We'll go by the king's route. We'll go by the highway. We'll go by the main road. We're just going to go. All we need is just give us passage. Let us cross through. We won't turn right. We won't turn left. Until we pass through your land. Just let us get through your land. Rashi says that's an interesting, funny thing. He's going to actually teach you some etiquette here. Here's the etiquette. Here's how he teaches you etiquette. He says, what do you mean we're not going to drink from your wells and we're not going to eat from your vineyards? We know what the Jews are eating. They're eating manna and they're drinking water. From the well of Miriam that we just had the whole story about. So of course they're not going to need your wells. Why do they need your wells? They have their own amazing, miraculous water system, water system and food. Of course they're not eating your food. Rashi says actually you're correct. They were trying to say a different thing and we learned some etiquette out of here. Interesting etiquette. Says that we are saying that we're not going to drink our own water and we're not going to purchase our own food. Eat our own food. We will purchase it from you. This is a great business deal for you. Everyone that's hungry, you need something to eat. Although we have our own, our goodie bags, our own snack, our own food, whatever we have, what we need, we're actually going to benefit your economy by having 3 million, whatever people come through your country and all buying food along the ways. And Rashi says, here's etiquette. It's not a nice thing to go to somebody else's town, somebody else's house, somebody else's town, and then not buy anything over there. It's like, I guess like some hotels, I don't know if this is a good example. Some hotels expect you to come there and then buy stuff from there. Here is, I guess you're not paying the hotel, you're staying there for free. At least the minimum you can do is buy the products being sold by the owner of the local town. So Rashi says there's actually a lesson in etiquette that the Torah is also teaching us, that even if you have food in your possession, go to the local guy, go to the local town and purchase your food from there to help him out as you're staying in his house. Verse 18, Vayomer Elav Edom. And what was the response? So the Edomites say, no way, Jose. Lo yisaver. You're not passing through me. You're not passing through me. Lest I'm going to come out to you with force, with a sword. You want to come to my land? I'm going to come out with force. And Rashi says, look, when your message to me, what was your message? We cried out to God and God heard our voice because Yaakov was blessed, right? Yaakov was blessed with a powerful voice that Hashem listens to. You know what? We're also blessed with something. You know what great grandpa blessed us? That we have the sword in our hands and we could kill. So you come with your prayers. We're going to come with our skill, with our sword. We know how to riot and to cause havoc and to kill. And we're going to come out with our hands towards you. You're going to come with your mouth. We're going to come with our sword. So no, you ain't coming over here. Verse 19. The Jewish people say, and they try to argue, but Mesila Nala. We're going to go by the highway. We're going to take the 95, the turnpike, the parkway. We're going to stay on the highway. And if we drink your water, me and my cattle, we'll pay you for it. You got to be silly. We're going to pay for whatever we touch. It's really nothing. What are we going to do? All we want with our feet. It's nothing. We don't want to cause any damage. Just let our feet pass and nothing's going to damage you. So he says, no, nothing doing. Verse 20. You're not going to pass by the Edom, and the Edomites went out to cross them to meet them. Then they put the money where their mouth was. Came out, Ba'am Kovid, with a heavy force, heavy nation, a lot of people. It sent the forces up, Ubiyad Chazaka, with a strong hand, and they were convinced of their success because they had the blessing that when they fight a war, they will be successful. Verse 21, Vayimayin Edom, and Edom refused Nasanes Yisrael to allow the Jews to pass his land, Vayet Yisrael mi'alav, and the Jewish people turned away from him, and they had to start traveling south and go all the way with all the 3 million people, whatever people they had there, all the way around the country, as I showed you in the map before. Any questions or comments, my friends, on today's Chumash before we wrap up today's Tanya? Any questions or comments?